You've got a guy on your left that wants to live on $1,000 a month based on the title of these videos, which we have done. And then you've got the guys on your right, guys and gals, that are looking at $1,000 a month in rent as a bargain. So that's what we're dealing with. Your $1,000 live abroad escape plan analyzed. Hey there, welcome back to Frank and Angie's Retire Early Office Lifestyle. Talking about $1,000 a month. There are videos upon videos. Let me tell you why. We were one of the first that made the video Family of 5 living on $1,000 in Cuenca, Ecuador. If you haven't seen that video, check it out. It's in our playlist. We do have all kinds of playlists down below. Check them out. So we made that. How long ago was that, hon? Almost 10 years, wasn't it? Yeah. So I'm just letting you know that what our authority is on this, because you've got the latest vloggers coming around doing videos like this. We talked about this 10 years ago, and we were doing it. That's another thing. And that's a family of 5, remember? So, I mean, if it was just the two of us, you know, analyzing this idea, part of the conversation, it has to be explained. Not only were doing it 10 years ago, but we've been doing it all along with slight fluctuations to the figure, depending on where we happen to be. But we did things like nomad around Europe for 1,400. We figured out we could have done that indefinitely for like 1,400. You know, 1,000, 1,200, 1,400, somewhere in there. And that was for the two of us in Europe, but in Ecuador it was the 5 of us, and that was 10 years ago. Nowadays it would be maybe a little bit more. But here's the thing that I was going to say about analyzing this idea. The first thing is that with us, you're getting it straight from the horse's mouth from someone that's actually doing it, and therefore has not only, it's not like somebody that just started doing it, like we just started doing this a few months ago, because you see people that have made videos. Look at my wonderful apartment in Mexico, my wonderful $800 apartment in Mexico, which just totally blows away your $1,000 figure. And then a couple months later, they're saying why I'm, making another video, why I'm leaving Mexico, because they're leaving Mexico. When it comes to discussions about cost of living and finances, that's the focus here, and so you've got two different situations going on. One of them is listening to people that are not just doing it now, but have also been doing it. You could say the whole 10 years they've been abroad, basically all their lives, all their abroad lives, they've been doing it. Or you could listen to somebody that just started doing it, and a lot of times people like that, you'll see that they'll be like in a studio, they'll be maybe in a little studio or in a little, if you haven't seen our playlists, all of the houses that we've rented and all the places we've had, they're pretty decent, practical, clean, nice looking places. This is the difference that it makes. When you listen to someone that's been doing it, you can get the details on it. But when you listen to someone that it's just a video title, that's my point. What ends up happening is that you're basically listening to people that are talking about it but aren't actually doing it. Now, they may be very nice people, maybe they're a pretty woman or somebody super successful, a multimillionaire or something, but the fact is still that they are not doing it. So what is the big deal? Well, I think on principle, if you're serious about doing something, you should be listening to those that are doing it and have been doing it for a long time, because then you're going to get all the ins and outs, whereas any other way you're just getting an idea without really understanding all of the ramifications of the idea. Which is to say, this day and age, you've got a guy on your left that wants to live on $1,000 a month based on the title of these videos, which we have done, and then you've got the guys on your right, guys and gals, that are looking at $1,000 a month in rent as a bargain. So that's what we're dealing with. I just wanted to be short and clear about what we're dealing with here. And thanks to the internet and the information age, these two people end up butting heads going to the same places. And so my point is, you can't really go to the same neighborhood. You can't. These two different, totally diametrically opposed people can't live in the same neighborhood. You can't live on $1,000 total expenses in the same neighborhood where people that want to pay $1,000 a month in rent and think it's cheap. It's just not going to happen. And so, okay, well, that's really a simple answer. Just don't live in the same neighborhood, which works in the beginning. But with time, you have places like whole cities, especially when they're promoted by Rams, Retire Abroad Media Magazine. You didn't want all this information, did you? Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's the thing, is that whole cities get taken over, like Cuenca, Ecuador did when it was named best place to retire in the world, like 2 or 3 times in a row. The whole city got basically taken over by foreigners. And I remember seeing signs on Facebook Marketplace and even in stores from locals looking for a rental in the local, not unnamed local price range, because they couldn't find any housing. Not only can the locals not find any housing, but the fellow over here on your left that thought he was coming down to live on $1,000 a month, but hold that thought. There's so much going on in this space. In the interest of keeping the brevity of this video, I'm just going to say that there are people that will judge other people because they're over here on the left. But what happens is that you've got price creep, where it's not just people that want to live on $1,000 a month that are priced out, but pretty soon it becomes $1,500 a month, $2,000 a month. At one time, it had become $2,000 to $3,000 a month in a place like Cuenca, Ecuador, where your average worker is making $300 to $500 a month, and where a middle-class family, somebody with a business, a taxi business, a tienda, this, that, is making $1,500 a month. So tell me how sustainable that is with the locals, and what that does to your relationship with your local neighbors. All right, so I'm sorry to give you that perspective, in the sense that I'm not trying to shatter your dreams. I'm saying that this calls for wisdom in how things are done. And it's the whole reason why we have a membership area to help people just like you that want to make it happen. And the bottom line is, just like anything else in life, things have to be done with diligence. And in order to avoid disappointments, don't have expectations, which is what I'm concerned with a lot of these videos made by people that are not actually doing it, that they raise people's expectations to such a level that they expect things to just fall into place automatically, and that may not exactly be the case. There more than likely will need to be a certain amount of effort involved in order to make it happen. But it certainly can happen, and it certainly has happened for us. We've made it happen, and we're still making it happen even today. But here's the thing. This same thing also happens in your home country, in the United States. And so from a home-based perspective, the way that we think is to start coming up with, yeah, but you can do this, you can do it. The normal solutions that people normally think when they're still at home don't actually work once you go abroad, because going abroad is a totally different animal. It won't work to use the same line of thinking that you use at home. Like, oh, well, I'll just, like at home, you might say, well, I'll just move to a lower cost of living. That works. America is somewhat homogenous, although you've got different areas in the U.S. that are, the people are somewhat different. Generally speaking, you've got a kind of homogenous thing going on in America in the sense of the development. When you go abroad, that's not the case. When you go abroad, you really want to be in the cities, or at least close to them. And there are some areas that you don't have to be in the city. You could be out in the country. But things change dramatically, and you have to be the type of person that is okay with that. And there are plenty of you out there that is okay with living a somewhat, and I don't want to use adjectives that sound derogatory, but compared to all of the conveniences, that's the thing of a city. Going outside of a city, you can live there, but it won't be the same lifestyle. And you have to be someone that knows how to make their own happiness. And that's what it comes down to, is you have to take your happiness and your contentment with you and not expect the place you're going to live on $1,000 a month to give it to you. And if you can do that, then you can be happy. So there used to be a saying that said, if you didn't have time to do it right the first time, where will you find the time to do it right the second time? And that certainly applies to this conversation. So I hope you got something out of that. Thanks for coming to the channel. Have a wonderful day.